Hello everyone. So today we are going to be going over how to figure out the mean of a set of numbers. Another word for the word mean is the word average. So you may hear these two words interchangeably. So let's go ahead and write that down. Mean is the same thing as the word average. So you're more likely to recognize the word average rather than mean, but it depends on what you've seen in the past. But again, mean and average represent the same thing in mathematics. Sometimes you'll hear it as arithmetic mean. So where are some places we might find the mean useful in the real world? So main one that pops into people's heads is sports. You can also find it in yourself. And the more commonly used place would be in terms of time. So let's get those down on your paper and give a few examples. So in sports, we would say something like football and let's say basketball. Are two examples. So in football and basketball, you may want to find the average number of points scored on the game, the number of rebounds or steals or yards that were run in a game. In yourself, you can measure and find the average of many things in groups of people. So like we can figure out the average height of people in this room. We can find the average shoe size. So these are two ways we can find averages in yourself. And the last one, time, we can figure out like the time it takes you to walk to school. You can determine how early you need to leave home, or if you're in a car, how long it takes you to drive from school to home or home to school to determine what time you need to leave in order to get somewhere on time. All right, so these are just a few quick examples. Now the next question is how do we find the mean or the average? So it's two quick, easy steps. We first add the numbers up. So all the numbers that we have, we add them all up together, which means we're just looking for the sum. It's just another word for adding them up. And after we add up all those numbers, we're going to go ahead and divide, because we're going to evenly split by how many numbers were in the data. So how many numbers were added up together. So those are my two main things I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and look at some examples of how this works. All right, so let's look at the first example, which is the time it takes four people to eat breakfast. So we have 6, 5, 10, and 7. We add 6 plus 5 plus 10 plus 7. That gives me the total of 28. So I'm going to write down 28 is my sum. And I'm going to divide it by 4 because we have 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 numbers, 6, 5, 10, and 7. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by 7, and I'm going to use the fraction to indicate division. I'm not going to use the division sign. So 28 divided by 7 is going to give me 4 as my average time it takes to eat breakfast, based on the data I have. Let's look at the next one. Try one more. Here we have the height of family members in inches. Now we're going to go ahead and add 65, 72, and the rest of the numbers. Once these are added all up, we're going to get 341. And we're going to go ahead and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 data points. That means I'm going to divide 341 by 5. So the average height in this group of family members is 68.2 inches. I'll put the inches on this one. All right, let's look at number 3. We have a table in this case, which represents the 2002 Summer Olympics and the number of medals set of countries received. So it's like Switzerland received 4 medals in the 2012 Olympics. And by the way, the Olympics for 2016 are currently going on. Make sure you watch them. They're pretty interesting. All right, so let's say we go ahead and add up all 4, 10, 5, 18, and so on. So once all these numbers are added up, we get 180. That's my sum when I add them up. And I'm going to go ahead and divide the fraction bar by how many countries are in this table. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 data points, so I'm going to divide by 10. That gives me a total of an average of 18 medals per country. And let's go ahead and do our last problem. Here we have a dot plot, and the little dots represent the number that they are above. So in this case, I'm going to write out the data. So here we have a 28, another 28. We have a 30. A 31, 2 32s, and a 34, and a 42. So again, we have 3 28s, those 3 dots right here, You have this 30, 31, and two 32s, a 34, and a 42. So this is my data right here. I want to label it data. Sorry, it's a little sloppy. Now I'm going to go ahead and add them all up. So if I were to go ahead and add them all up, I get 285. And I'm going to go ahead and divide that by, let's go ahead and count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is going to be divided by 9 data points, which gives me 31.66666666666, and the sixes go on forever and ever and ever. It's an ongoing number. So I'm going to go ahead and do a general blanket statement in terms of us rounding. So we are always going to round to the 10th place unless the directions say otherwise. So one more time, we're always going to round to the 10th place unless otherwise indicated. The 10th place is one number after the decimal, so that means I'm going to cut it off right there. So it's going to be 31 point something. So we remember we have to check for rounding. So in this case, we always look at the number after where we want to cut it off. In this case, the number 6 behind this little bar I drew. So this number determines if the number to the left is going to round up or not. Now remember the rule, if it's bigger than 5 or bigger, you round it up. So in this case, we have that 6 where I put that green line. That 6 is going to round the 6 on the other side by 1 up, so that's going to be 31.7 as my average. All right, this is pretty much it. Now the next page has just review over how to round in case you've forgotten. So again, there's a place value chart, and there's another video on Canvas, so make sure to check out that video on how to round if you're still having trouble remembering the rules. Just a quick refresher. So go ahead and get started on your practice, and good luck.